I'm your instructor, Andrew Joseph Keith, and for this lesson, I picked the nose.
Ew!
That's what we're going to be going over, the nose. Even though people have noses of all shapes and sizes, it's important to look for some common forms that make sculpting the nose and representing the nose a lot more manageable. As we went over in our lesson on the simplified planar head, the nose can be simplified into a boxy shape with a wide base that has side planes that open towards the front plane of the face and a bottom plane that's shaped like a trapezoid. It can be difficult to capture this exact shape of the bottom of the nose because you don't always have the opportunity to look at the model from below to see that trapezoid-like shape that the bottom of the nose makes. Sometimes this shape is more triangular, sometimes it's a little bit more boxy, and sometimes it's rounded. Because the nose is mostly made of cartilage, it will vary quite a bit from person to person. When observing the nose from below, it's important to understand how the nose attaches to the upper lip. Beginners tend to stick the nose onto the face as if the nose was stuck onto a flat plane, but the actual transition from the nose to the upper lip is much more interesting than that. This upper part of the lip is shaped as if the nose, the wings of the nose, were pinching that upper lip. It's like the wings of the nostrils are clamping on to the upper lip where the nasal septum is. The nasal septum is the part where the nose transitions to that upper lip. If you feel the base of your nose, that bony bump is the anterior nasal spine. And then the cartilage of the nose, the nasal septum, right there, comes off of that, and then the wings of the nose pinch on either side, making the lip look like it's pushed forward in space. When looking at the nose from the side view, this means that the nostrils extend back behind where the nose transitions to that upper lip. A lot of people try to push this upper lip back and then push this nostril forward, but as you can see, it doesn't look right. The nasal septum contributes to the shape of the nostrils. And because the nasal septum is a little bit wider here, and then it kind of narrows as it goes towards the tip of the nose, it makes this bean shape for the nostrils. So they're not just holes in the face, they're often more bean-shaped because of that mass of the nasal septum and the way the wings of the nostrils extend around and then press in at the base of the nose. The bridge of the nose is the top of the nose up here, and it consists of the nasal bone, and then that transitions to cartilage right there. And then that transitions to the ball of the nose, this area right here. You can feel that nasal bone on yourself. You can also see it on a skull. And if you feel the sides, you can feel how that nasal bone transitions to the maxilla. A common beginner tendency is to make this transition too abrupt, but in reality, it's a really soft transition from the side of the nose over to the cheeks. Part of that softness comes from the nasolabial fat pad that starts at the mid part of the nose and then comes around towards the outside corners of the mouth. But then also, even on the skull, it's a pretty soft slope from the nose to the cheekbone. The ball of the nose is made up of two pieces of cartilage that come together and meet together at the tip of the nose. These pieces of cartilage are called the greater alar cartilage. On me, you can actually see a little bit of a separation between these two pieces of cartilage. There's kind of a little dent at the tip of my nose. If I feel the tip of the nose, I can feel the two pieces of cartilage that come together at that tip of the nose. Sometimes you can see this, sometimes it's too soft to notice. The wings of the nose are these babies. Let's look at the nose from the side view. Now you know what a nose looks like. You're welcome. The shape of the nose from the side view is important to capture accurately, especially if you're trying to capture the likeness of a specific person. So this will be part of that profile line that we establish when we start a portrait. Depending on the person, the nose may be pointing up, forward, or down, so try to get that angle right. The transition from the forehead to the nose is generally softer of a transition and more of an S curve in women, and in men it tends to be more abrupt. Boom, boom, boom. So you can see on me that there's that distinct dip inward, but on many women it would be more of a soft transition because they don't have that thick brow, that thicker frontal bone. A good way to practice capturing this silhouette or outline of the nose is by doing the profile pancakes that we went over in the first assignment for this course. Now let's go over the process of sculpting a nose. Just like with the head, I like to begin with the profile of the nose to establish the silhouette from the side view before worrying about any of the other information. With a photo reference of the side view of the nose, you can use your Sculptors cheat sheet and hold the nose directly up to the larger reference on the screen. Make sure that the nose extends far enough out from the study board so that we have enough depth for the transition to the eye sockets, the cheeks, and the upper lip. Now that the silhouette is established on the center line, we can draw in some guidelines, then we can add in some clay to represent that ledge of the forehead. Next, I'm going to come down and establish the mound of the mouth. Once that's in place, we can lay in some clay on either side so that we have something to build the structure of the nose and the cheeks off of. To establish the nostrils, we can observe the side view and again make sure that the shape and distance back from the profile line of the face is accurate. Again, notice how the nostrils travel back behind where the lip connects to the nose. Now we can turn to the front view and try to establish the shape of the nose from the front. Pay attention to the nostrils in comparison to the tip of the nose and the shape of the nostrils, as well as the shape of the wings of the nostrils. It's helpful to look for plane changes in the nose. Where do the forms change direction? And are these plane changes abrupt or soft? And then take some time to smooth out the forms and finalize the details, refining and defining the sculpture. In the premium course, I have the full-length demo of this self-portrait sculpture assignment. And so if you're really interested in mastering portrait sculpting, I hope that I'll see you in the premium course. Your assignment is to do one nose study sculpture, life size or a little bit larger, and this should take about an hour to 2 hours. As you can see, it doesn't need to be perfect. I haven't smoothed out the texture or anything, but it's pretty well established and the forms are all there. This is just a great exercise if you're trying to master sculpting the nose. If you're taking references of your own nose for this study, I recommend getting many different angles from the side view, from above, from below, especially to see that shape of the bottom of the nose. The more references that we have to work from, the better. One of my favorite assignments for the course is doing these facial features twice life size, and so that's what we'll be doing next. The only way to get better at sculpting is by sculpting. You can't do it by watching these videos. You need to grab some clay and massage it into a nose. All right, do the assignment, stay productive, stay creative. I'll see you in the next lesson.